Hi, I'm Roy Collin, and I'm here with my co-partner of VA World, Karen Rubab. And basically, what I want to do is we're doing websites, and I've created a lot of questions because I have seen the skill set of Karen. We're working together for probably over 5 years now, I think, Karen, is it? And
Yeah, yeah.
yes, and I have seen the
Been more than
incredible
5 years, I think.
more than five, yeah. So I've
Yeah,
seen the incredible websites and different things that you've done, not only for me, but for a lot of our clients. What I've done is
yeah.
I've written down different questions and to cover
Mm.
because everybody's got different fares. And I think by actually going through it in detail,
Yeah,
we should cover what questions somebody might have. So
okay.
when a client comes to you wanting a new website, what's the first thing you look at?
So the first thing I honestly look at is like, why do you want a website? Because it all starts with a why. Even every business, everything starts with a why. So if they know, like, what is their purpose, why they want a website, sometimes it is like, they want more leads. Sometimes it is like, they want to build authority. Most of the time, it is an educational website. They want to have a specific brand positioning. So until or unless they clarify a goal, what is it that they want to achieve from the website? So that is the first thing. Because like, beautiful websites, they can fail. First thing comes like the strategy. Strategy is always before the visual. So we want to make sure that we know why they need a website.
And this kind of ties into a bit of what you said. It's like, how do you make sure a website actually converts and just doesn't look good?
Yeah, because conversion that starts from the clarity as well. Like, if you focus on the messaging, you focus on the user journey, focus on the call to action and the simplicity. Because I have seen a lot of people, they have beautiful websites, but like, if I go, they are not user friendly. If I go to the website, I don't even know, like, what is it that I'm looking for. If I just want to explain here quickly, because we have a website, then we have some landing pages, we have some sales pages. So most of the people, they combine everything on a website, and then we have a landing page where we are just specifically targeting one, like in one call to action. But on the website, we have it like, we have some programs. So we have, let's say, 6 programs, and we have 6 landing pages specifically for that. So we define the website in such a way that if somebody comes in, and they should know, like, where they are heading to. If a website have like, 10 programs, they should be able to see it clearly. There's not a lot of clutter. They don't want to, like, go ahead, search all the website, and then they find a program. So that comes very first, like, have it simple, user friendly. So whenever somebody goes in, they know what is the next step they need to take when they are on the website.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, what's the biggest mistake businesses make when creating a website? And I can just touch on a few things because I mean, I interview, hundreds of people and I'll be
Hmm.
checking their websites before and I'll say, this button doesn't work, that doesn't button, this goes to error. And
Yeah.
sometimes they don't even change it. And it's like they don't realize the damage they're doing.
Yeah, yeah. But I feel like, the biggest mistake the businesses made is like, they design a website for themselves. Like, if I am Kiran Rubab, if I have a business name, Kiran Rubab, okay, and I start making a website, kiranrubab.com, if I focus more on myself, then user are not going to get anything. Right? So whenever I'm making a website, I need to keep it in mind, like, the visitor, what are the question visitors will have in their mind? What are the steps they need to take? So I'm not making the website for myself. I am making it for my clients. Yeah. So that is the biggest mistake people make. Like, they define like, these are the colors I like. And I have like, all the feminine energy on my website just for the females. But if my audience is like, male, female, all together, then I cannot have a website that's served for me only. I need to keep it in mind that this is like, masculine plus feminine website. Yeah.
And I mean, what I have seen with that as well is sometimes there's LGBTQ and people are into that,
Yeah.
but they're then trying to get clients from everybody. And some people are offended by that or they don't want to know nothing about that and they're hurting themselves. So it's a case of know
Yeah.
who your client is when you're
Yeah.
doing, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How important is brand clarity before building a website?
Super important. Like, that is the first step. If you don't have the brand clarity, like, then your website is inconsistent. Your social media is not aligning with your website. Your messaging is different. Your tone is different. So brand clarity is what that comes first. Like, you need to really know your client, who your client is, what your message is, what is it that you are serving. So like, audience clarity and brand positioning. That is what, when you have the clarity and you have the brand positioning, then the website start designing it for itself. Like you don't need to do anything. You just have an idea. Yeah.
What questions do you ask clients before starting a website project?
Mostly like who your ideal client is. So let's say like, somebody is targeting teenagers, then the website would be different. If somebody is targeting the somebody who are like, 25 to 40 plus, then the website visuals are going to be different. If that is above 60, then the website is going to be different. So one example could be like, topography. So if we are targeting people over 60, then you need to make like, your fonts a little bigger so they can easily see it, right? You sometimes want to add the features where like, if you're doing it for some disabled persons, or like, there are a lot of disabilities when we grow older. So if you want to add a section like, so they can just read, like, with AI, they just read whole content for you. So all of these kind of things, they come with the ideal client. So we really want to know who their ideal client is, and then we start the website. So this is the first question. And the second question is, what is the action you want your visitors to take? Right? If I am visiting a website and I want to like, purchase a scarf, right? Or a hoodie or anything. So I really want to define what is it that the action they are going to take when they are on the website. So they don't have to like, look for a lot of things and they don't find what they are looking for.
I've had the blind blogger on my podcast.
Mhm.
I've had a few others, and the disability. Apparently, what he's saying is it's like up to 5% between sight and everything. So it's something that
Yes.
people should incorporate because it's a market that's there, and I think it's fantastic when people actually do that.
Yeah. And I do ask a few more questions like, what is the main problem you solve? So because we call it like, above the fold, when you go on the website, there is a section, a hero section. We called it above the fold. So nobody scrolls the website, but still they get an idea what is the problem you are going to solve. So that is another question. And then like, what makes you different from, because let's say you have like, 4 or 5 competitors. So you really want to ensure that your unique selling point is mentioned on the website. So whenever they go to the website, they get it, what makes you different. Yeah. So these are the type of question I usually ask.
How do you align a website with a company's long-term business goals?
Yeah, that is the most important question, because a website is not like, just you did it and then
And move
it's gonna
on.
be
Yeah.
done for. Yeah. Yeah. So it is not a one-time project. Like you need to have the scalability option. So I will give you an example. So there was one of my clients, she's a dentist. So they wanted to have a website where they can sell courses. So at the beginning, they were just doing the webinars, right? So we built the website for webinars. But I asked her, like, what are your future goals? Let's say, like, this goes well and you want to include more things into the website, what they would be. So she said, like, we might want to do the in-person seminars, we might want to do the e-learning. So all of that, when I was doing the website, I kept that in mind. Like later she might want to add the e-learning, right? Later she might want to add more speakers. So all of that. So whenever we are building the website, we plan it for the next 5-10 years. So whenever any update you want to do, it is easy, and you just don't have to always, you don't have to start from scratch. Yeah.
Very good. And I suppose one of the things with us as well is, we're working together 5 years plus. We've never had an
Yeah.
argument. We've never argued. We've
Yeah.
never fell out, which is very rare with a
Yes.
business partner. And it like,
Yeah.
I mean, even with the clients and everything, I see like they've got such tremendous they're so happy with it. They're constantly writing to me saying how well it is. And at the end of the
Yeah.
day, when you're talking to somebody and doing it, it's important to actually connect with somebody and like and know that you're able to explain things. And
Yes.
like one of the things that you do as well, sometimes if you're creating something that they're doing themselves, you create a Loom video and send it and simplify
Yeah.
it, or sharing the
Yeah.
screen. And like a lot of times people, they don't even show their face. So if you're working with
Yeah.
somebody, you don't even know who they are, and you're building trust on that. So I just want to say that
Yeah.
it's so easy to actually do things with that. Now,
Yeah.
I suppose, yeah. I mean, I want to kind of touch on like what makes a website stand out now, because we're in 2026. Like what's, because it's
Yeah.
constantly
With a lot of,
evolving, everything is changing. We've got
yeah.
the AI and yeah.
Yeah. So the most important thing is clarity and authenticity. So if you are authentic, yeah, like you want to differentiate, like, this is coming from AI, this is coming from you. So you want to have that authenticity built in the website, and then you have clarity and speed, because these days the speed is playing a very important role. So if you go on a Google, you search for a website, and you see, like, if the website doesn't load for next, I mean, people are not willing to wait even for a minute. So your website should load within a few seconds. So if that is not working, then your website is a disaster, right? And then people just don't want the information. They want to have a connection and they want to build trust. So your website should convey that. And definitely you want to integrate AI with your website as well. So these are kind of things like, you want to have some robots which they can, like, AI agents which can reply automatically to all the inquiries, whatever is coming on the website. So all these things, that they are the few things that will make the website stand out in 2026.
How do you approach user experience and customer journey?
Yeah, that is super important because let's say a visitor land on a website. So we need to think about it like, what is the first thing they want to see? Okay, so before that, like, back in, like, 2024, 2025, there was a lot of, like, pop-up goings on. So whenever somebody goes on the website, they see a pop-up. So that is what, like, they will see the first, so then they will get an idea, what is it that we are going to get? So yeah, this really depends on how you want to take user with you. So if we are talking about a funnel-based system, so inside a funnel, you have, like, this is the first page they are going to see. Once they purchase this offer, then you have another upsell or a downsell. So depending on what is it that we want to see, this is different for every business. We define it, we define the customer's journey, and that is how we design it.
And you mentioned
Yeah.
the pop-ups because like
Yeah.
said one of mine, you can have a pop-up saying join the email list or whatever. But
Yeah.
sometimes what happens is you're navigating the site, and even though you've X'd it out, it pops up, it pops up, it pops up, and that actually annoys somebody,
Yes.
and they leave. So we're conscious of that as well, and we don't do that. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
obviously,
You
if
can.
somebody wants to do that, you can. But for me, when I
Yeah.
see that, I'm gone. It just annoys me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It happens because people have, like, added pop-up on everything, like, pop-up on exit, pop-up on reaching to this section. So no, you don't want to overwhelm the process. You just want to keep one pop-up. Yeah.
No, this
Maximum one pop-up at a time.
Yeah. No, this
Yeah.
is this is one that I think is very important. How do you
Yeah.
explain how design psychology influences conversion?
Yeah, it matters a lot. Like, even just changing the CTA color, if you have it, like, in, let's say, blue, and then it was not working, if you change it to orange, you see a lot of improvement. So colors and typography, all of these matter a lot. And then secondly, like, sometimes you go on a website, so you see the navigation, and then you have a small, we call it breadcrumb, and after that, they have a lot of information, right? So you just don't want to do, like, you just don't want to clutter it with a lot of information. You want to have the right spacing. So, like, you give each section a chance to breathe. So whenever somebody goes on a website, they see the sections, and then definitely the colors play a very important role. Let's say you want to use red color. So that is, like, that pops up right away. If you go on a website and you just see the red color, that will pop out, right? So you will be able to see the call to action clearly. So yeah, there are different colors, like, green, that is used for growth. So yeah, that plays an important role. Yeah.
And one of the errors I see some people making is you can't see the text and you have to highlight the text to read it. And I find it
Yeah.
strange that somebody that's doing their website, whether they're doing it themselves or hiring someone, actually does something that it's impossible to read.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what role does speed and performance play in website success?
Huge. As we discussed earlier, like, people are not willing to wait for a minute. So it should load in a few seconds, right? So speed reflect, like, how user experience to your website, the conversions. Like, if somebody is on a website and they want to purchase a course or a product or anything, right? Whatever you are offering, they click on it. And if the click is, like, they'll click one time, two times, three times. But if it is not working, they will be frustrated and they'll leave the website. So you really want to make sure that speed is the super important thing now. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I've got the Skool group, and I listen to the Skool
Mhm.
news, and they're constantly
Yeah.
trying to improve it. And that's the main thing
Yeah,
that they're working on now. They're mentioning speed, 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 because they know that
yes,
someone, like if you're waiting for a page to download, because sometimes people have, the video or they've all things opening and everything, and it looks fantastic.
yeah,
But people
yeah,
don't have the attention span. 5 seconds, they're gone. They're like,
yeah,
this isn't working.
yeah,
So, yeah, you
yeah,
might think it looks fantastic, but at the end of the day, what is your task? What are you trying to achieve? Get leads, get people to go into your webinar or your masterclass or something like
yeah,
that. So they're hurting themselves by trying to be too fancy.
yes, 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 100% right.
Now, how do you ensure a website works perfectly across devices? Because I've seen that. I mean, we know.
Yeah, yeah, we really want to make sure that the website is working well. Like, even if this is a MacBook or it is an HP laptop, it is a Safari or it is a different browser. So people are using so many different types of things. So you want to make sure that your website is working on mobile, tab, or any kind of device. So we test it across different devices. We there's a process where we can just see it, if it is working fine on mobile, if it is working fine on tablet. These days we have a slightly different design. So website is designed differently for mobile than for the desktop. So yeah, we make sure we test it across different devices. We have a team which test it out. So yeah, this is how we make sure that it is working fine across all the devices.
Yeah, no. Let's
Yeah.
kind of look at examples. So, can you share a real example of a client that you've worked with and how it helped their business?
Yeah, so I'll talk about there's a website I worked on, Shark Education. So we begin with just simple courses. So that was the first stage, where we had the website simply just explaining what we do. And as we evolve, so after that we built an e-learning system where they will be able to come in, take the courses. Then we designed a membership, right? So in the membership, they are you are getting the discounts, but all kind of offerings because they're dentists, so they have different kind of offerings. If you want to buy that gadget for that, if you go through our website, then you will be getting this much discounts. Then so all kind of different stuff, and then we built their whole system where the if a patient comes in and a doctor can just they fill in their information and they get a PDF report of all the diseases, what is it, the next you can say they get diagnosis of the disease and then after after a day they will be able to get uh, the report from the dentist himself. So they get everything within the system, and then we will be able to generate the PDF reports and all that. So because now we have AI, so with AI we are building a lot of systems where we give them all the data and then they generate all the reports automatically. So yeah.
Now, what transition do you aim to achieve with that website? I mean, you've kind of touched on a lot of that. I mean, but like there's a lot of complexity that for different websites that you've done. I mean, I've seen a lot of the work, and sometimes people they create something and then it just evolves. And like we've worked with people for years. It's not just this kind of here's the project and move on. Some people it's like that, but there's others it's
Yeah.
just continuous, and I think that's an important thing to know as well. Um,
Yeah.
can you share a specific example where your design directly improved engagement or conversions?
Yeah, so there was one of my client. We did a website, but that was that was not really converting well. So later on, what we changed is we make it a little more simpler. Before that, it was too uh, very good for eyes, but that was not converting well. So then we changed it, we made it very simple. We just changed the colors to just white and blue. So blue for call to actions, and we just updated the colors, and then we make it more simplified. So whenever somebody comes in, they just get the information they need. We try to keep it minimum. We do not have a lot of images and all that, and that really started to convert well. Yeah, so instead of a browser, we make it a sales friendly page. So that really started to convert well.
Now,
Yeah.
what feedback have you received from clients about your websites? I mean, I've
I
heard a lot of people telling me, that we're working together. They just say this is fantastic, and they're saying how nice it is working with yourself.
yeah, I have received a lot of good feedback from a lot of clients. Yeah, they really love working with me, and they think they just give me the vision and I'm able to bring that into life. So that is the most important thing, guys. Like, sometimes it is really hard to understand what they need. So, but whenever I work with them, so what happens is, like, if we are not getting to a point which they like, and I'm assuming something else, they are telling me something else, because it is not like, it is really hard to define what is it that you need most of the time when it comes to website, right? So we get on a call, and I, like, ask them, this is how you need it, this is how you need it. So we just do one or two sections together if we have to, and then they love it, right? So most of the people, like, I have never received a negative feedback till now. Yeah, yeah, that is the most important thing. Like, yeah, I think people enjoy working with me.
Oh, definitely. And I suppose the other
Yeah,
thing is like copyright because, sometimes people have in their mind how it should be. We're able to oversee that as well and go, look, maybe
yeah,
perhaps this. And because of
yeah,
experience with doing so many websites, you kind of know what works and what doesn't. And sometimes, and clients are
yeah,
open to that as well, that they assume
yeah,
something sounds good, but it comes across maybe aggressive or just too kind of bragging, and just
yeah.
little tweaks can make a massive difference.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes, like, there are some people who are just too salesy. So we have to tell them that, like, s- you just cannot directly sell to somebody, right? You need to have a lot of touch points. Before it was 7, but now I have seen, like, with a lot of interaction going on, now you need to at least touch base with somebody 21 times before they buy it. So yeah, definitely. You need to have all those touch points on the website. You are educating them, then you are, like, going slow by slow, step by step. Yeah.
And I suppose because sometimes people they create the cookies, and that's because that's you think you get people to see your website and then they're going to buy. But if it's the first time they've come across 21, I've heard that so many times. I read loads of marketing books, and then
Yeah.
just how the cookies. I mean, some people don't want cookies, but a lot of people do. And the cookies then, when they're on social media, can actually get their advertisements and everything. So you're able to do that as well if the client requires that.
Yeah, that is like, because website is not just a design, there are a lot of things happening in the background. So this is something that comes in the tracking. So what is it that you want to track? Because if you are doing the Facebook ads or you are doing the Google ads, right? So with the ads, you will see, like, if you and me are talking about something and we have our phone nearby, next time you get up, you will start seeing those ads, right? So those are all the all the things that come from the tracking and all that. So you want to make sure that you are tracking everything. But yeah, with the website, like, so there is even for a website, you have a step-by-step process. It is not like, you just do a very nice landing page and that's all. Now you have a lot of back end story going on. So this is one of them. You really want to have a good tracking system installed. So you are tracking every single thing. And tracking is like, a huge, I'll say, like, that is a separate task, complete separate task, depending on what is it that you want to track. So you can track somebody, even, like, you can track the smallest things, like what, where they spend the time. But then you can also see, like, this is the button they pressed, then they went to this page. So all of that you can track. Yeah.
It's actually like the podcasting because I mean, and thanks to you as well, I've got massive numbers, with all the stuff
Yeah.
we're doing the shots. But I talk to a lot of people, or they get me on the show, I
Mhm.
go talk, and they're all thinking it's one special thing. And you see their face go dumb when I tell them it's a combination of a load of things that
Yes.
leads, and it's the same with a website. It's basically there's
Yeah.
a lot of moving pieces and not just a pretty looking website. There's a load of
Yeah.
things to make it successful for the client, and we're aware of all
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah. And, like, if you have a product you are selling, then you need to have a lot of uh, payment gateway integrated, like, so you have Stripe, you have PayPal, you have Apple Pay. Sometimes if you want to use authorize.net. So there are a lot of things going in the back end. And once they purchase it, then after that, there is an other story going on that is in the email campaigns, right? So once they have purchased this product, then you have a different series of email. Like, they were on step 1, then they reached to step 2, and now to reach them to a step 10, let's say, you like, you have a very high ticket offer. So that is all the story going on in the emails. Yeah. So this is not just the website is not a complete task. You have a lot of back end story going on.
And
Yeah.
because you've touched on the payment options, because you've done that for me with all the different services on
Yeah.
my one. And like sometimes people think that you have to give your personal login details and everything, and it's not because you go into Stripe and there's it's so they're protected because I think sometimes people think, oh, they're afraid to do the website or have their payment options because they might think, oh, it's compromised or I'm giving you access to my Stripe account, but it's not. It's all code. So you might just touch on it just to make people feel safe that when we're doing payment options, Stripe or
Yeah,
whatever.
so what happens is like, this is if like, if somebody is working with me for from 10 years, they are happy to even share their login details. So they don't even hesitate to, like, they can just do it yourself because they just don't wanna, like, they don't wanna waste their time on these type of things. But then when you have a new client coming in, they are too hesitant. Like, they don't want to share their Stripe logins. They don't want to share all of that. So what we do is most of the time, the API keys and, like, there are some keys with the Stripe which you can just give us. You just copy and paste, and then we integrate it with that. And if we have, like, I just, like, installation, what happens is we get on a call, like we are doing a Zoom call, and then I navigate them, like, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do. And that is, like, sometimes a 30-minute process, and sometimes it is a 15-minute process. So depending on where you are, and this is how we link everything together. And, like, a lot of people, they don't even know how to sign up for Stripe. So I get on a call with them, I navigate them through all the process. Once they have the business registration, all of that done, and then we integrate it. So yeah, that depends. Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
why is having a VA team involved in website management so valuable?
Yeah, like, if you think about website, this is a one day project. Again, we are emphasizing on this because this is not a one day project. So once you have your developer has done the website, they have done all of it, you will need somebody to maintain the website, right? So if your website is an e-commerce store, you will have a lot of product coming in daily, if not daily, monthly. So you need to have a VA who is going to update that. Then you will have the stock, like, right now, if the stock is at 10, sometimes it will be at 50. So the VA is so important to manage those websites. And then if we talk about the e-learning platform, or the courses where you have, like, this could be webinars, this could be in-person seminar, they are always changing. You're just not going to have one course all the time. You are going to have different courses. And then even with the courses, they just go ahead, add all the courses, like, whatever. And sometimes you want to even tweak your course outline, right? You want to add another module. So that is where you really need a VA. Yeah. And there are
Yeah.
so many things, like, that this is when you jump into this website thing, you realize that there is a whole world going on.
And like,
Yeah.
because the thing is when it's really complex, you need people. Because what I have seen is somebody like when it's a simple thing, you come
Mhm.
along and you actually you explain so someone can go away and add the blog, do the things themselves. Because it's not a case of, hey, we're done your
Yeah.
website, we're in charge always. That's not our style. We make sure that look, you can do it. But we've had somebody that went in and decided they could do it themselves and destroyed their website and then came back and said,
Yes.
I don't know what I'm doing. And the thing is, they're after basically just changing everything. So what I would say
Yeah.
is if you don't understand it, that just let the experts actually look after it for you. It's not that we're holding the gun to your head and going, hey, this is a
Yeah.
million bucks. No, we're making sure that we're very fair. But if it's a
Yeah.
simple one and you just want to have, we teach you how to do it. So you're able to, so
Yeah.
depending on the level of complexity that you do, we're able to cover you.
Yeah. And one more thing I'll add here is, like, how much your time is worth. So that is what I ask when people want to do it themselves. I'm like, are you willing to spend 2 or 3 hours learning this? And then, like, going and improve, like, doing the, like, if there is a comma needed, or there is some, like, a very small tweak. So is your time worth doing that? Or you want to focus more on growing your business? Right. So there's, like, one thing is working for the business, and the other thing is working in the business. So the people who really want to work in the business, they are never going to get ahead of the game. So yeah, that is another thing to keep in mind.
And even like this kind of add-on stuff as well. Like, I mean, shorts and different, like what we do a lot of times is
Yeah.
packages that we know we're doing monthly, a lot of different things, prices issued beforehand. And even if they decide to add a bell and a whistle, because a lot of people kind of have
Yeah.
that habit of doing, just assuming
Yeah.
we tell them beforehand. We don't just come along and give them a fright and go, yeah, that was the original price, but you asked for this. We tell them
Yeah.
beforehand. And I think full
Yeah.
transparency is actually why people actually like working with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know I'm covering a lot of stuff, but I know these are stuff that people are they're curious about you have to cover every single thing. No,
Yeah.
no. I mean, we kind of touched on this, staying ahead of the website trends and the digital strategy changes. So that's
Yeah.
covering the AI and everything because,
Yeah.
and I think the beauty of doing so much with so many different sectors, you
Yeah.
can actually learn from one sector by tweaking it and working with the client and go, oh, this is
Yes.
a great strategy. And
Yes.
our aim is to make sure that our clients are getting as much clients or getting as much business as they can because we
Yes.
get a lot of referrals from our clients, but they stay with us.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Yes.
because we're actually looking at the long term because I know, I mean,
Yes.
even in Poland here in real estate, like sometimes people they just want to do business once and they're gone and they just want to grab your money.
No.
And we never look at that. We're always
No.
long-term vision, and I think it's important to be working with someone just like that.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll say, like, the biggest thing in the business, if you want to be profitable, is client retention. So if you cannot retain a client, that means, yeah, then you are always looking to, like, you cannot just sustain a business without client retention. Yeah.
So, what platforms do you specialize in and why?
Yeah. So I have used WordPress for a very long time. So I am very good with WordPress, Kajabi, ClickFunnels, and again, there are so many platforms with AI and everything. Every day a new platform is coming. We have now Go High Level, which is very cool, like a very good CRM. So we have HubSpot. So almost like, even Salesforce and all that. We are comfortable using any platform, whatever you decide to go with, but there are, like, pros and cons of using each platform. So that is where, like, we just go back to question number one. We see, like, what are your goals, right? So according to your goal, we suggest you a platform, like this is the platform you want to use. And sometimes it is a combination of the platform, like, with WordPress you might want to have another, you with people these days, they have WordPress, ClickFunnels, like, and other kit or something, a good email marketing software going on. So there are a lot of platforms going on depending on your need. We tell you, like, this is the best platform to get this done, get this done. And we also build custom solutions, right? So if you don't want to go with WordPress or anything, we code it for you. We develop mobile apps, web applications, like, the way I mentioned, like, if there is a hospital, right, and they want to automate the process a little, they want to taking the patient information and they just want to, like, get it in such a way that this is quicker with utilizing AI, right? So they want to generate the reports or they just want to forward the data to the doctor and all that. So yeah, we do build custom platforms as well. So depending on your need, we tackle almost all kind of platforms.
How do you
Yeah.
future-proof a website?
This is again, like, going back to the foundations. So if we really know where we are heading in the next 10 years, we know we are always ahead of the game. So depending on what you tell us, we want to make sure the website is performing fast. This is mobile optimized. Content is easily, like, we have a content management system which is very easy, and we are using the latest technology, so it is easier. Yeah.
And sometimes as well, people they create a school group. That's their website takes them there.
Mhm.
But we're able to. We've created a lot of school groups as well. So if people want to, create a school group, we're able to offer that service as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what's the difference between a template site and a strategically built site?
So, the templates depend on from where you are getting the templates, right? So if you go on WordPress, you have a lot of different websites which just provide the templates, but they're like, you just don't have the flow, right? They're just pretty template which look nice, but you don't have a flow, right? And I mean, I have done a few templates as well for some of my clients, like, where I have, like, done like 10 templates from where they can choose from. So this gives them a little bit of, like, because we are not starting from scratch, so this gives them a little bit of discount when they go for a template, right? So depending on the template from where you are getting, right? So if a template is well designed, they have kept in mind the psychology of, and then they have kept in mind, like, this is these are the steps they need to follow, and there's a good workflow, then a template is good. But most of the time when you go to WordPress or you go to, like, Theme Forest, like, in Watto and from all those places, whatever templates you get, they are just for the basic design start, but they are not good for a strategically website. So you need to really have the messaging right. right? So whenever you are planning it, you plan the website out, then you plan the messaging and all that. So there's a big difference between templates and a good website.
And you mentioned previously about like go high level and different platforms that people,
Yeah.
I don't know, was the one because of my podcast course
Yeah.
that you
Hmm.
were working with. I don't know, was it Lighter FM or something like that? That I paid so much for this thing, and then we had to get plugins, and
Yeah.
that frustrated me and annoyed me that the company is selling you something that you think you're getting. And I think with your experience as well, you're able to advise people, hey, it's not just this, because they make it look like, hey, it's just this, and then they're trying to sell you,
No,
they sell you
yeah,
the body,
that's
but you
not
have to buy
always
the
the
arm, the
case.
leg, and the feet. So yeah, there's a lot of trickery
This is
out there.
always the case. Yeah, this is always the case whenever you go to apply. Like, even with the WordPress, if you are just getting Elementor, right? So you're not getting the payment gateway integrated. If you are getting just the WooCommerce, they have a lot of plugins upgrade as well. So there is a lot. Yeah. So as soon as we know, like, this is where you want to get to, like, we know the point A and point B, so that then we define it like, this is what you will need, this is what you will need, this is how much it's gonna charge, it's gonna be. Yeah.
So what separates amateur website web designs from the personal execution?
Yeah. So the amateur, they're just focused on the design. They don't have any idea about the conversion, about the leads, about the psychology. So they will just like, focus on the design. But when it comes to a professional, they'll know like, this design needs to convert. This is how it should be placed. This is the type of headlines you need to have. So like, your copy, that plays an important role, right? So you just cannot, because most of these days people just go to AI, and even they don't have a good prompt engineering, so they will just like, type in anything, get the data from there, put it on the website, and they don't even realize that if this is going to convert or not. So professional and people, they know how to link every bits and pieces. Yeah.
And like what I've come across over the years as well is some people kind of do it yourself. They, whether it's GoDaddy providing a service that you buy this
Yeah.
template, and then when they want to make changes, they're able to do basic things. But if they want to add something, like add a course or do something, that template didn't, and then they have to go back.
Ah,
They don't understand it. The system isn't designed for that. It's designed for what you
yes.
just got, and then they get frustrated because it's like back to the drawing board. So we make sure,
Yeah.
yeah, you never have that problem when you're kind of,
Yeah.
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 How important is messaging compared to visuals?
Yeah, I think that is super important. Visuals are just like, one time. They like, you can land somebody on the website if that is visually appealing, right? So that is the first step. But then they want to read through it, and that is when they are going to take action. So visually appealing website is just that is something that's going to grab the attention, but that's not going to convert. Your messaging is going to convert, right? And then like, people don't buy just like, for the sake of buying. If they just see something and they just go and buy, no, that doesn't happen. So yeah, you need to have a very good story and a copy and a messaging, so they feel emotionally connected, right? So that is the first thing. Most of the time people, this is what I have read a lot, when it comes to buying psychology, people buy mostly because of emotions, right? So if they are connected to you emotionally, then they are more willing to buy. Yeah, then later on they can like, go for logic to justify their sale, but the first thing is always emotions. So that is where your messaging come in. If you have a good messaging, then they'll connect with you emotionally.
But this one is like, how long should a piece of string be? It's like, how long should a home page ideally be?
There is no ideal length for a home page, right? So that depends on what is it that you are doing, right? Yeah. So sometimes like, even just one, which we call it hero section, that is enough. But sometimes you need to have a very long section because you want to add the social proofs and all of that. So there is no justified length for a home page. No. So yeah, we
Like,
cannot define the length of a home page
no,
depending
but
on what we
and
need to go to.
and you're dead
Yeah.
right, because like I studied Glazer Kennedy. There used to be a GKIC newsletter for
Yeah.
years, and they'd give out letters that people would read and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they were saying eight pages outperformed other ones because it was relevant.
Yeah.
So when the
Yes.
information is relevant, people will read
Yeah.
it. But if you're just spoofing, wasting their time, you're hurting yourself.
Yeah.
But if it's all
Yeah.
relevant to what your buyer needs to know, yeah. So
Yeah.
there's no, yeah. What is your process from concept to launch?
So first thing is always the meeting, right? So we have first meeting to understand the strategy. So once we have it, then we design a like in a basic structure and design. Then we have another meeting to refine that design, to refine that structure. We know if this is what you like, and then that is followed by the development, optimization, and then we launch it. So before launch, we try to test it. So if you have, because most of the time, clients want to test, they just hire us as a designer, so then they do the testing, right? We don't do the testing. But if they have hired us for the complete process where we have a QA team, they do the quality testing and they do the quality assurance and all that. So then we do all the testing and then we go to the launch, right? And after that, the process doesn't stop here after the launch. We still provide the maintenance, the ongoing support, and everything. Yeah.
What I see a
Mm.
lot of times, because sometimes people, perhaps it's a new business that they've done and they wouldn't have the
Yeah.
socials, but then they build their Instagram, their Facebook, their LinkedIn, and
Yeah.
sometimes they'll have the pages and the pages don't even go anywhere. And it's, you can
Yeah.
make the, so I encourage everybody with their website to go in and check it and review it and see what can I add, because it's important to
Yeah.
act, because people will then go and check your Instagram or check your
Yeah.
YouTube and go, oh, this guy's got X amount, and oh, he's not a fly by
Yes.
night, he's not just like after repairing it a month ago. And then it builds
Yeah.
credibility, which in turn could actually lead to clients. Now,
Yeah.
Kieran, if someone is watching this and unsure whether they need a website, a new website, what would you tell them?
I would ask a simple question like, if you go to your website, does that define you? You are comfortable in representing that to your friend, and you think like, yeah, this is it, right? So if you don't like it or you don't feel like this is your home, then you need to upgrade it. Your website truly reflect like, your growth, your credibility, your future direction. So if you are not seeing any of that, then you definitely want to upgrade your website.
So I suppose for those that are watching, how they can get us, obviously
Mm.
they can see the QR code, they can scan the QR code, go to va.world. But normally what they'll do is they'll go in, like we've got a lot of information on that. We'll do a
Yes,
strategy, for a free kind of strategy call. You can book with Karen.
yes,
Sometimes I can come in as well and we can discuss everything when it's connected
yeah,
with my skill set. Because a lot, I mean, I've had 20 bit different businesses. So sometimes I'm coming in and giving my sixth sense, as they say, to
yeah,
a different thing. But one thing I think is very important: we don't do any slimy tactics. We don't do anything that's kind of
no,
trying to do a hard sale and saying, "Hey, this you
no,
either want it or you don't." And as I
yes.
say, like I said it earlier, that when we write out exactly what we want, you get a quotation of exactly as it is. If that's it, that's the price you pay, and everything is grand. But if you want to add on things, we tell you beforehand. We're fully transparent, and you're in safe
Yeah,
hands.
yeah, yeah. This is our strategy. Like, when we send you a quotation or a proposal, we define everything you are going to get. So if you exceed from that, or if there is something we there's something come up, like, so most of the time, if you are in a complex development project, sometimes you don't realize, like, these could be the new things which we want to add in. So before adding those, we send you a message, we get your confirmation. This is going to be the extra cost, so we are fully transparent. You are not going to, we will define everything beforehand.
No, perfect. Well,
Yeah.
Karen, thoroughly enjoyed talking to you, and I hope that the people. Was there
Thank
anything that
you.
I didn't ask you? Because I kind of prepared a lot. I know I read the questions, but I think just to make sure I didn't forget anything. Anything else you'd like to that maybe I didn't cover?
Yeah, I think this was pretty much it. So yeah, but we uh we make sure that your business is moving in the right direction. So we just don't do the website. We do all the, like, the back end story, which we cannot explain right away. But when you are on a call with me, you can book a discovery call with me, and then I can tell you, like, we can work on the pipelines. We can work on the pipelines and all of that, like, the funnels, the email marketing going on, so all of that. Yeah, so that for that information, you need to book a call with me.
And the thing is, because like I've got the six podcasts, and you're doing a load of stuff for that and everything. Last week was 110,000 views between the downloads and the shorts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly learning marketing. You are as well, but we're sharing that with
Yeah.
our clients because we
Yeah.
want you to be successful because we want you to stay with us for as long as possible. But also, we've
Yeah.
got referrals as well from a load of clients, and I think that
Yeah.
speaks volumes. So listen, Karen,
Yeah.
it's a pleasure working with you, and I look forward to the
Thank
next
you.
5 years. And if
Yeah.
anybody's got questions, just go to va.world. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.